Right. Let's see. I see red bar, so sound should be pretty good. Hopefully, if it doesn't equalize back on us there. Let's turn the fan off, get some background noise out of the way. Ugh. Let me know if you guys can hear me all right. Um, so like gorgeous day outside today, but unfortunately, we have a ventless dryer, and I had like all the air turned off and everything because I refuse to turn like the air conditioner or anything on. And it obviously gets cold at night, but it's like 80 degrees in the upstairs right now, and like obviously the computer doesn't help because I have it under the tower's actually under the desk. I don't have it on top. I need a little bit bigger of a desk. So like this room is like 80 degrees. It's like, oh, all right, sounds good. All right, awesome. All right, so looking at the ATRs, let's just go right into things right off the bat tonight. Looking across the board on the top, you can see the euro, we're up 1 pip in 24 hours. So again, things are obviously returning back to normal. Pound dollar, 87, perfect, exactly where it should be. Not necessarily, saw in trade rooms and what. Yeah, basically that's kind of what it is, right? 87 up, again, about where its ATR was before all this craziness took off. So again, good sign there. Dollar yen up 35, another small day. Dollar Swiss 0 in 24 hours. Dollar CAD 27 down. So again, that one kind of retraced a little bit from yesterday, but again, another good sign coming back into normal ranges again, and it ate another one of the bigger days up. Aussie dollar 100 pips in the last 24 hours. So then that one's had some movement. Again, gold kind of was in the had kind of a down day. But for the most part, Aussie dollar, again, 105 is a little bit more than normal. Again, that's, there typically seems to be one that's moving. Euro pound down 60. Again, pound strength still in the market. Again, pound is rocking, right? 87 up versus the dollar, 60 down versus the euro, which again, great there. Gotta love that. And then euro pound is up 134, exactly where its ATR should be. Exactly, that's what it was beforehand. So, loving this. This looks great. If you guys looked for the news today, obviously the biggest one was U.S. oil. Yeah, the crude was just unbelievable, right? 15.2 versus a 4. I mean, I didn't think we'd hit the 9.8 forecast. I just thought that was pretty crazy because that was the biggest forecast I've ever seen. And then the fact that it missed and it came in at 5.2, it's like, geez. I mean, just that miss in general anyway, but that high, I mean, just crazy, crazy, crazy. At this point, I'm trying to figure out how long before Sean gets, 99-cent gas. I think it was Will said he saw it somewhere else, but I think Sean had the lowest. I think he said he saw it for 111. But after a number like this, it's like, man, keep dropping. Now again, oil did rally today. It came off a pretty good level. Obviously there's a news trade set up, kind of a parabolic, kind of pre-parabolic move in oil. It tagged a zone, and what did it do? It turned and flipped and shot right back down. And then it hit a 30-minute zone and then took off and skyrocketed up like $1 something. So yeah, oil was crazy today. Bond came in, whatever it is. FOMC, and then obviously President Trump speaking. I like this one. FOMC signal, profoundly uncertain outlook. It's like, yeah, it's bad. UK brings the housing market to a standstill. Not surprised. To pass loan, program funding this week. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, like I said, a lot of stuff is going on. China faces the worst job market in 20 years as U.S. slumps. Yeah, I mean, again, you started the problem. Now you got to deal with it on the back end. So, looking as far as today goes, you can see the FOMC notes was obviously a big thing. Oil is talking about, look at this. It's discussing massive oil cuts. Really, because I thought it was in already. Now you're discussing it, right? Again, people had already thought that deal was already in there. Found the world's largest hedge fund doubles down on cash. Cash is trash argument. Yeah, every week it's a different expert trying to get in. That's kind of where we are. Like I said, not a lot of this is considered red. OPEC is the biggest mover in that one, so not too much going on. What does it say? I forget to get a picture. I forgot to get a picture again today. I'll get one tomorrow. Yeah, get me one tomorrow. Maybe it'll be down to 99 cents. Going into tomorrow, guys, tomorrow we have OPEC meetings all day, so that'll be the big one. 8:30 tomorrow morning, we have the unemployment claim. And obviously the unemployment numbers have been big the last 2 weeks, but we haven't seen a lot of movement off of it in the way that you would expect. So we'll see what it's able to provide tomorrow. Remember, this is first-time claims. So at this point, 3 weeks in a row, we had 3 million Americans. Then we had 6.6 million Americans, and then they're expecting 5 more million Americans doing unemployment for the first time, right? For the first time. So, again, we're approaching that 11. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, imagine if this one was like 9 million. That would be insane. But no, I think it'll be. I think this one would probably be probably be a bit less, right? Like I said, I think with some of the stimulus in there, people are like, listen, you don't have to pay this loan back as long as you don't fire anybody. And I think that matters for a lot of people. Um, we'll see. I've heard some mixed reviews on that one today. You know, it is what it is. So that'll be a big one, obviously, that 8:30 number tomorrow. And then PAL and consumer sentiment is at 10. So if you guys noticed in the markets today in the indices, what happened? Markets went straight down from the open. They hit that 10:30 mark, and they turned and went straight back up in the air again. Um, Again, those reversal times are pretty legit. If you're able to find trade setups at that between 9 and 10:30 in the morning, those are the sweet spots, right? Those are the sweet spots. Again, tomorrow having Powell speaking, consumer sentiment, and inflation expectations all in there at 10 o'clock. Yeah, that's going to be some stuff. Now let me put the other news back on there as well. Let's do all, click that off, and you guys can get a better idea. Here's what the full day provides, okay? Again, OPEC meetings. We have some monetary policy meeting notes for the euro. We have CAD and US numbers, both at 8:30. Again, the CAD numbers would matter. You can see the unemployment rate for CAD is supposed to go up to 7.4. This would matter. This would be a huge thing if it wasn't for the US numbers kind of counterbalancing it. And then obviously tomorrow night, China, 9:30. Again, we'll have chart school at that time, but CPI number for inflation, and that's year over year. So that'll give us kind of a good reading of really how bad we are right now. Because again, they're starting off kind of from square one. We'll see what the inflation looks like. Month over month is more of a kind of near term kind of what was the coronavirus kind of look, but now we can see kind of okay versus a year from now, how bad were we? Where is ground zero? Where are we starting from? So that number does matter as well. So we should see some Aussie and New Zealand movement from that. Tomorrow's really the best day for news. Like I said, a lot of stuff going on. GDP starting off in the morning. If you guys are, you West Coasters or you people that like to stay up late, go ahead and try to trade that GDP number for the pound. It could be good. I mean, previous was 0, forecast is 0.1, so it looks like it could be good if it comes in as a 0.1 or 0.2, showing that there is some signs of growth. That'd be pretty good. Like I said, they were starting from basically 0. If they're getting any type of kickback or any type of kick up in this one, that's good. We'll get more pound strength. I've been talking about pound strength for 2 weeks now. So again, we have 2, 7:30, 8:30, 10, and then we're pretty much clear for the rest of the day. All right. So looking at the scanner. Scanner is coming back online, right? Not that it was offline, but for lack of a better word, but a lot more trades that are starting to get set up again. So we will start covering it again tonight. Overall, right now, what we're seeing on here is Aussie dollar. We're in an uptrend continuation pattern. Again, you're seeing it up 98. So yeah, not surprising that one is straight up. Euro, kind of again. What's it doing? Consolidation, consolidation, consolidation. And look at the top, it's -5 in 24 hours. So, yep, makes sense there. Pound dollar, again, anchor break to the top side. We see that up 85. New Zealand, kind of the same thing. Consolidating the lower time frames. And again, it is after hours. Again, all that was pound strength, and it's been many hours, almost 12 hours since that market had closed. So, not surprising there. As you guys can see, the US dollar, again, consolidating. And again, dollar yen, up 34, dollar Swiss up 5. So obviously those are consolidating. The euro basket is the one that probably, the euro and the CAD basket are the two that have really the most setups in them. As you can see, euro yen is obviously we have some check marks across, literally just sideways up, confirmed. We're going to keep looking at that one, see where the supply zones are coming into. Euro dollar, obviously sideways all the way across the board, nothing really set up there. Euro Aussie, confirmed downtrend setup. Whoops, where is it? Right there. You guys can see it move just a little bit. It's sideways confirmed to the downside, right? This is that Aussie strength coming back into the market. And again, the Aussie basket, pretty much everything is Aussie strength right now. You guys can see that one is solid blue right now. So not surprising. Euro pound consolidating, but in the lower time frame showing us down confirmed. So again, same thing. We need to start looking for supply zones in this one. This has been down for a while now. So let's check that one out. Euro New Zealand, confirmed down, right? Kind of the same strength that we're seeing. And again, the lower time frames now we see a setup as well. So kind of interesting, but I think New Zealand is still a little bit shy before I'm ready to get back in there. CAD, Aussie CAD, obviously up, right? I'm going to left from the Aussie basket over here. And again, the CAD is kind of mixed. CAD yen, definitely going up, but the two lower time frames are showing us a downtrend. So again, a little conflicting statement there. We'll check that out. Pound CAD, down up, or I'm sorry, a downtrend setup. And we're seeing kind of a confirmed up on both of these. So wouldn't be surprised if this pound CAD actually switches and turns to an anchor break on the daily, because it looks like it really is trying to push that level. Nope, you shouldn't be seeing my charts right now. You should be seeing the scanner. I'm looking at the scanner. And you should see. Can you see the mouse? Yeah, I can see the mouse moving. Never mind, my browser was stuck. No, I'm on the scanner. You guys should see. I don't have like the crazy highlighted cursor thing. That thing drives me nuts. But you can see, yeah, it's moving. It's moving. It's moving. Don't make me get that cursor thing. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Wealth Builder was your old eyes. I see your cursor. Yeah, it's moving. Yeah. Thank you, Q. I appreciate it. So that's CAD basket. Aussie basket, everything is showing Aussie strength, right? 2 anchor breaks to the top side confirmed, uptrend setup, uptrend setup. Literally everything is across the board showing Aussie strength. So we'll check out those pairs. Everything is breaking higher. Good, good, good. Pound, almost everything except the pound CAD. Obviously, the CAD has some strength coming back into it. That one's showing a downtrend setup, which means it's up, but setup situation. Really everything else inside of the pound is more or less going up. Anchor break in the dollar against the dollar, consolidation versus New Zealand, and then just kind of an uptrend, but more or less just flat against the pound Aussie. Okay, so again, scanners important. You guys are seeing a lot more trades and a lot more of these check marks. I love check marks because check marks show me that we're getting to an area we're about to be in a setup position, right? Whether an uptrend setup or running into a a counter flip trade. All right, so a lot of stuff going on there. Again, good stuff on the scanner. Finally, after about 2 weeks, it's coming back to the point where we can start looking at it and paying attention to some of the trades that we have set up in there. All right. So, with that said, let's go over to charts. Now we're switching to charts. Who said that? Yeah, now we're switching the charts, Ernest. Okay. Everybody just confirm. I have the Aussie dollar up now. Ernest, we have a chart. See, Ernest started drinking like 2-3 hours ago. I know when Debbie said something about drinking, Debbie said she was 2 in, and Ernest said, I'm going to grab a drink. So maybe that's what the problem is. Maybe Ernest has had a few too many drinks already. Homeschooling does that. Yeah. Well, speaking of that, I have the boys for the rest of the week now. The boy's mom wasn't feeling that great. She actually called the doctor, and she's like, no fever, no nothing else, but, stay, chill out. So I have the boys actually the rest of the week. But the boys are earning spring break, so there's really no homeschooling for the next 2 days. I was like, yes, no homeschooling. But I do have the boys a couple extra days, which is fine. I don't mind. But then I won't have them at all next week. So next week I won't be earning any new gray hairs, which would be cool because if you guys didn't see it, right? You guys didn't see it. Here is the title slide for the new class. I don't know if you guys can see that. If I can make it bigger? No, can't really zoom in. But there's the title slide for the new class. That'll be out next week. So webinar Turbo Tuesday. No, I'm not going to lose my mind. I was making a Chick-fil-A sandwich, huh? There better be pictures on Instagram of that one. Yeah, webinar number 2. So remember, do not repeat the first secret word. Make people go back and find it. And then, webinar 2 will be Tuesday at 12. We'll give out the second code. And I don't know if I'll be able to have this one fully recorded by Tuesday, but what I'll do is if anybody wants to, again, for people that don't already own the course, you'll be able to get the 5-minute course, or you'll be able to get this one with those codes. Hopefully, because I don't have the boys, I'll be able to get enough recording done next week that I better have this released. I don't think I can do it this weekend. Maybe Sunday. I don't know. Maybe Sunday we're going over. Maybe I'll get some recording done. But yeah, so it'll be coming online next week. The kids wanted Chick-fil-A and I didn't feel like driving. Secret word stay. Second word home. No. No, but I did have to get compliance to approve both words. So I was kind of like one of those things that's like, okay, because I was like thinking about like safety or anything like that, but I had to make sure that like, they weren't taking it the wrong way. Like, make sure they weren't, like the code words weren't making it seem like not risky or something like that. I'll make my own Chick-fil-A sandwich too. I'm telling you, Chick-fil-A's got a racket going. All right, so let's start with Aussie dollar, guys. As you can see, another green day. That's 3 in a row. Look at this ATR. This ATR is collapsing, and it's probably about 50%. Do fibs work down here? Do they? Oh, they do work down here. Oh, that's kind of cool. I don't even know where everything else is. That's kind of cool. Have to throw some fibs onto the ATR then, right? New strategy, confusing the heck out of everybody. Anyway, you guys can see we're pushing up a little bit on this one. Again, we're approaching that 4 hour zone that I talked about. We're getting pretty close to it. It's sitting right there. And again, this is a hand drawn level, as you guys can see right here. Let me go ahead and change this back to white. There you go. So you guys can see this is coming in at 62.86 to 63.21, and again, it's a 4 hours level. You could probably kind of shrink this on a smaller time frame. Looking back at the 1 hour, again, we talked about this last night. You can shrink it a little bit, but don't go too crazy with this one. And again, not necessarily a bad run. Like I said, it's been moving pretty good during the day. This could be a day and a half. You like that? Fibs on the ATR. New secret webinar: how to do Fibonacci's on ATRs. That's all right. There's fibs on everything. Time fibs, fan fibs. There's fibs on everything. Exactly. So again, looking for a short position off of this one on the Aussie dollar, Aussie CAD. You can see on the daily, this one is pushed up again. Nice big day on this one. It did have a level that we were kind of pushing off of. It actually broke through it today. I mean, it kind of just jumped through. The level wasn't the best, as you can see. It's kind of like, why is that in the middle of the candle? It's based off of this zone. And again, it was good for one trade. It went pretty deep in there. Would not have taken it for a second time. This was kind of a bit aggressive. But you can see, what do we butt right up against? Again, sitting right up here. Missed an entry. And again, it barely touched last time. It got front run this time, and it's kind of pushed to the downside. There is a little bit of a demand sitting right below it. So again, as price came back down, it did base and has made another attempt. Kind of did this failure to go higher and is now put a red candle in. Can kind of see it there, although it doesn't look like it hit on this one, but on the hourly, yeah, hourly it did hit. So, but again, one thing I'd be concerned about is this. That's kind of an area of demand right there. So even though it was a short, it definitely has to break through that one. So, a way that you can play this one again is Harry Potter, this thing. Fortunately, you can't shrink it too much. We can come down into there. Yeah, you're talking about 13 pips there, so that's not horrible, right? Not horrible. Something along those lines. Your 1 to 3 is in a good spot. Your 1 to 5 is probably fine too. Look for a break of that zone. And again, kind of coincides with, also getting short this pair after a big day. Doesn't cross it. No harm, no foul. Yeah, a fib halfway back on quarantine. Absolutely. I'll have to message Jack about that one. He'll get mad. He's like, stop making fun of fibs. I'm like, Jack, have you ever run a halfway back on the ATR? He'll be like, what? What are you talking about? It's a super secret advanced strategy. Better stop. He's going to get mad at me. I like Jack. Can't be mean. Can't pick on Jack that way. All right. So as you guys see here, 30-minute on the this one. This one basically moves straight up today, as you guys can see. Big day up again. Aussie, New Zealand. Actually, a lot of Aussie weakness. Again, you guys can see it came up. It turned a little bit, right? You guys can see it came up and it hit it and hit again and hit a third time and then kind of pushed down again. Didn't quite get the 1-to-1 and then made another attempt in and then it finally stopped you out. So basically, over 6 hours, this thing just kept smacking, and then finally broke through the top and came back and retested. So it was one of those ones. What are you going to do? I mean, there was sellers there, obviously. I mean, it hit and pushed down, hit and pushed down, hit and pushed down, hit and pushed down again. I mean, how many times does these sellers, have to defend themselves? Nothing you can do. Ended up not going down to our target. As you can see, it did kind of leave that area and come back down again. Not the strongest hit on this one, so we can remove this as an actual sell feature at this point. Looking to the left now, you can see we are still kind of in a zone. There's a zone right here. Right there. No, not there. Right there. So we are still kind of sitting in that 4-hour zone. We had that little bit of an aggressive target there. We'll see what it's able to do now. We'll drop down on hourly. Yeah, that's probably the best way to draw it. So that's kind of what we're sitting in right now. All right. So we have the aggressive target, and then the next one above is where we're sitting currently right now. All right. Again, another one of these targets that is, go to the downside. Okay. All right, so go to Aussie Swiss. Aussie Swiss on the daily. You can see again, big push up. This one actually on the daily has a zone that's sitting right here. Okay, and we're close. So really, besides that level, there's not much we can talk about. On the 4-hour, yeah, you can see that there's an area marked off. We'll take that one. It's a little bit more refined. Again, higher is typically a little bit better, but that zone is fine. Area is about 40. Let's see here. Let's see. Yeah, so looks like it is pushing right there. Whoop, nope. No, stop. There we go. There we go. And that gives us about 14 pips risk. All right. Bit higher than where we are right now. Currently, we are sitting about 36 pips away. So got a couple hours before we can hit that one in the Aussie Swiss. That one is sitting up at 61.03 to 61.26. So nice little risk on that one. I wouldn't put it past Jack, though. I'm telling you, there's t-shirts in that. Running a halfway back Fibonacci retracement on the ATR. Would hear fibs and they'd still want to buy it. They'd be like, ooh, Fibonacci. All right. I remember having that discussion with Jack. Like, yeah, Jack, you need an advanced fib class. People will see fibs and want it. They don't know what it means, but they will see advanced Fibonacci course and they'll have to have it. Or Fibonacci masterclass, they'll have to buy it. All right, daily, same thing. This one pushed up. Obviously, this one has a big area marked off on it. Here's kind of what we're looking at on the 4-hour. So looking to the left, there's a big area basing here. It's quite large. There's really not the best of areas. Here is kind of where the gap is. I think we got to kind of keep that forefront. Looking at this on the hourly, you can see there is a little bit of an hourly zone here. Let's stretch this out a bit. Boom, there we go. Pull that off. Here's the hourly zone. Is it the best? No. I would probably prefer to use this and here. I think that's a better area. Again, hit, but it's getting lower, lower off that area. That's sitting a little bit higher than what the hourly is showing. You're looking at something along those lines right there. Okay, that one's coming in at 68.71 to 69.15. Okay, and that's pushed off the hourly. All right. Singapore, I'm going to escape because, like I said, I think I'm going to read the Singapore pair since people can't get access to them now. All right, CAD Swiss. So CAD Swiss on the daily. Basically, the sideways movement, right? We had one day up and it was red. This one was mostly down, but came up and ended up closing green. So sideways consolidation on the hourly or on the daily. Look at this. Here, I'll stretch it out. I can't even stretch it out anymore. No movement, no trend. Kind of button up against an area. Hourly, kind of the same thing. Kind of pushed down, went up, pushed down, and went slightly higher. So really nothing in this one. If anything, I would say I'm probably a bit more bearish just because we have, these highs that are put in. We've been unable to get back to them, but no trade set up on that. Looking at this guy, kind of the same idea. A little bit of push at the end of the day. 30 pips from that zone. That zone is about 18. So not horrible. We had this Harry Potter set up to the downside. With it rallying off of that zone, again, this is why we do this, guys. Unless we ended up breaking through and it gives us the setup, we don't take it. In this case, it ended up popping twice, right? So we've hit a few times. It looks like it's more likely going to fail the next time it comes through. So again, keep that on your radar as far as this, a shot to the downside. Meanwhile, we do have a potential trade set up here. Oh, excuse me, being at the upper end of the curve. It's been like hours since I've eaten. Ernest is talking about Chick-fil-A sandwiches, and I'm like burping now. I'm like, yep, clearing room for Chick-fil-A. I tell my system we're not driving out to go get Chick-fil-A. Although those waffle fries would be pretty good right now. If I could get the waffle fries with, is it, I don't know if it's Smash Burger or not. The one that has the buffalo fries. You guys ever had those buffalo fries? Basically, they are like Shoestring French fries with powdered Tabasco sauce, like buffalo wing sauce, on the top of them. Awesome, absolutely amazing. I don't remember if it's smash burger or I forget what the other one is. I forget what it's called. But yeah, some waffle fries with that powder. Awesome. Five Guys? No, it's not Five Guys. No, hold on. You're gonna make me find it now. Is it Whataburger maybe? Whataburger? Buffalo. It's like fast food. And it's gonna drive me nuts now. No. No, I don't care about Taco Bell. I feel like it's no, it's not those. No, yeah, they're like shoestring ones, right? Shoestring. I think I had them. Man, I'm not gonna find it out. I'm gonna have to message my wife and be like, "Yo, who was it for?" No, not. I don't care about Thrillist. It's gonna drive me crazy now. In-N-Out fries were okay. They were not Dairy Queen. They're not Wendy's. They're not Sonic. Not Hardee's. Not Popeyes. Not Burger King. They were not White Castle. Culver's. Raising Cane, no. Churches, no. A&W fries, no. It could be. Is it the Whataburger? No, they have spicy ketchup on it. They were a Buffalo. Like I said, everybody got them. Like there's Chick-fil-A, McDonald's, Arby's. Man, I don't know. Smash. I don't know. Somebody say the Castle. Yeah, White Castle's in here. I don't know, man. I'll find it. I'll make sure I post it later. I'll have to message Melissa and be like, hey, where did I get those Buffalo fries at? She's gonna be like, what are you doing? Where did I get those really good Buffalo sauce fries? She'll know because I sent her a picture of them. She'll know where it is, like on my Facebook or something like that. She's good like that. All right, so this guy again, we have a short up top as well as we have a short at the bottom if we end up breaking through. So there's the CAD for you. Now that we're talking about French fries and everybody's hungry. No, I don't know what Freddy's is. It wasn't Freddy's. No, and like I don't get the animal fries from Five Guys. It's like let me get fries that are pretty good, right? They're pretty good, and then let me just drench them in Thousand Island sauce. I don't know. Oh, she says smash burger. And she answered like instantaneously. Smash burger, buffalo fries. Ooh, ooh. Let me see. French fries, spicy buffalo fries. I think that's it. I think that's it. Yes. I think that's it. Yeah. So it's smash burger. Of course, none of the pictures of it are good. But yeah, basically they are shoestring fries. Yeah, they are shoestring fries, guys. And then there's a powdered, um, buffalo wing sauce. Yeah, like something like this. It's like a powdered buffalo wing sauce powder, and they put that on the fries. So instead of like, if you're on the East Coast, we put like Old Bay or like apple cider vinegar on our fries. It's something like this. They get like Frank's Red Hot's like powdered version of it, and you sprinkle that on top of like fresh French fries, like shoestring French fries. Absolutely awesome. Sorry, Q. My fault, buddy. Yes, I'm gonna be craving it now. I'll be on Amazon later. I'll be like Josh, right? Yeah. Um. All right. So Cat Swiss. I'm sorry, Swiss yen. You guys can see on the 30-minute, we're obviously getting close to a zone. On the daily, this one kind of shot back and forth. 3 greens, 1 red, and then a little bit of a green, putting in a lower high in this case. Okay. Looking on the 4-hour gives us a little bit better of a picture, and you can see really kind of chopping back and forth on this one. You know, stretching it as much as I can there. Again, more or less sideways movement. I wouldn't say there's much movement in it. Not really trend-wise, and you can see on the hourly, we've been smashing up against the same area. We finally got back and hit to it. We marked it before as kind of this is the aggressive. Again, this is a little bit farther out, probably a bit more conservative. Again, we're shrinking real quick on this one. 30-minute, you guys can see we're bouncing, and it really doesn't make much of a difference in 30-minute or the hourly. It's the same two zones. The bottom area is the same. The demand zone is in the exact same spot, right? 4-hour wise, again, obviously we want to look for the top and the bottom of the curve. We're still stuck in the middle, so we're kind of messing around with inside of a little area. And even so, the consolidation on the daily on this one, I just don't know that at this point. I don't think there's just that much in this one. If you're looking for something, I mean, against in a 2-pip spread, risk in this area is only about 15 pips, so it's not a huge area. Oops, missed the zone. But again, the 1 to 3, the 1 to 5 are both in pretty good, areas. The only thing that makes me cautious about it is, all the premium pushes down, hit the 1 to 3, hit the 1 to 3, just missed the 1 to 3. We haven't been able to clear that, even though there's a racetrack sitting over here. So a lot of room to run. Like I said, this area here hasn't even been remotely touched yet. This area back and forth is just kind of, so again, 1 to 5, although it's in a good place, I think it's a bit risky. I think the 1 to 3 is a better one if you're looking to take that one. All right. Yeah, Q. I don't think. Do you guys even have Smashburger up in New York City? I don't think you guys do. I only had it traveling. Like I was out in, I want to say like Utah maybe, because whenever we went to California, everybody's like, "Hey, you got to have an In-N-Out burger," and then we went to Utah, and they're like, "You got to try this," and it was on. They were like, it was like honestly one of my favorite fast food experiences. It was awesome. Yeah, good stuff. But yeah, buffalo wing sauce powder, 1 pound of it for $14. You can put that on like 30 pounds of fries. Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Now I'll be hungry all night. All right, let's look at the euro. Same brand. Yeah, it's Frank's Red Hot Buffalo Wing Sauce. Yep, that was the right one. Yep, yep, yep. Yeah, I'll probably be buying that later. Oh yeah. And for you guys that don't want a whole lot of it, you guys can get it in the little package as well. Little 2.12 ounce jar for $4.52. Ships in 1 to 2 business days. It's a dehydrated blend of Frank's Red Hot Buffalo Wing Sauce, and it gives all the ingredients. Heat level 5 out of 10. All right, so let's go back and start with Euro Aussie, so I don't mess this all up tonight. All right, so you guys can see Euro Aussie is really in a big push down. Most of this is the Aussie strength kind of pushing this to the downside. We are hitting an area right now where this gold line is. Again, it is an area where there is some demand coming in, and you're seeing we're taking a little bit of bounce. Remember, I said set an alert. If we're able to get down to that zone, look for a potential bounce. We do have a potential bounce off of it right now. It ended up not hitting the actual zone itself. You guys can see here. I will put, oops. No, I don't want the trend line. Nope, didn't want the trend line. I wanted the horizontal line, and I'm going to change it to the small level, and I'm going to change it back to that color. All right, let's get it right on the top. There we go. Now we can drop to the lower time frame and see how close. So you guys can see we ended up missing it. It is taking a bounce off that level. So the alert was great, letting us know to come back and look at it. It did spend a lot of time there. You're talking about 6-7 hours. We got to bounce off that level. But again, probably wouldn't be at a 1-to-1 at this point. It's just kind of signifying, hey, listen, watch this area. Again, you got to be thinking a little bit bearish. Bearish for the Aussie. This position, obviously, in this pair, bullish. And again, that coincides with what we saw in the Aussie dollar and a few of the other pairs, that the Aussie was in positions where it was going to start becoming weak. Here, you're already seeing a move out of this position. Kind of the same idea, right? Again, little pop. Didn't hit our zone, unfortunately. All right. So, again, bullish in this one. No trade setup. Euro yen. You'll see in the euro yen. Euro yen on the scanner is showing us consolidating to the top side. Again, makes sense, right? You have a green, action is green, anchor is red. Going across it is an uptrend right now. Yeah, so it's kind of sideways, consolidating right back down. We'll see what's flipping. So on the 4-hour, you can see a little bit of pop, like one pop down and one pop back up again. Not really a trend today in the last. Yeah, see, very consolidated. Look at this. We kind of skated right between these two levels. Yeah, again, top and bottom, I think, is what you should focus on the most. Again, there was a little bit of an aggressive level that was put in last night. Besides that, still holding pattern. Still look at the same two zones. Bottom side alert at 117.63. Top side alert at 119.44. Nothing we can really do in that one right now. Looking at Euro New Zealand, you guys can see Euro New Zealand also kind of came off an error on the hourly. On the daily, again, this one is pushing back down again. This is that kind of like hidden New Zealand strength here. And although a lot of wicks, excuse me, been healthy, right? Impulse correction, impulse correction, impulse correction, impulse correction, impulse, and then now corrective move, looking like it wants to push down, but we do have areas of demand right below. On the 4-hour, yeah, there's a little zone right here. No real entry is able to get into this one, so there's not much we can do on it, right? As you guys can see on the hourly, kind of just skirted off and kind of ran right from that zone. So it knew buyers were there. It turned and said, no, let's go the other direction. Again, New Zealand strength coming in, very similar to the Aussie trade. Spent about 6 hours there before it finally turned, but it front ran us, and there's not a whole lot we can do with it. All right. Euro Swiss. Euro Swiss, again, this one you guys can see on the daily. Look at the ATR. Again, we're at the halfway back. We're at the halfway back on the ATR point. You guys will see we're getting close to that bottom demand zone as well. But kind of a weird level. It did spend a lot of time in here. Like a couple of little fingers kind of reached down to kind of grab at that level, and now we're coming back to it again. So, yeah, I mean, it's an area where you're going to have to say, hey, listen, I'm probably going to be a bit more bullish with the euro. Maybe not necessarily take it in this pair. It's only about 13 pips, but trying to find like a good, like, is it super clean? And the answer is no. Not even here. Look at this. Look how much time it spent at this level. Popped out of it, came back down and rode it again. Like, look at this. For how many candles are in that area? It's here. Look at this. Every candle banging off that level. So we know there's some buyers in there. Would I use it as a takeoff point? Probably not. But again, just throw that into the lump of saying, hey, listen, here's another reason why the euro is probably going to have some type of a rebound because it is kind of bouncing inside of a demand zone, at least in another pair. All right. Euro dollar. Okay, euro dollar is minus 11 now in 24 hours. And you can see pullback, basically sideways movement, kind of the same thing. We're just starting to kind of push up. It is green right now on the 4-hour. Same idea. You know, again, we were talking about being top or bottom in this one. We didn't get to either one of them, unfortunately. We had that alert line set in there and didn't really move enough on the 4-hour. You can see we're basically in the same exact spot where we were last night. You know, click the indicator. Here's where we are now. Go back to the 21 here. We were right here. So have not moved whatsoever in this pair. Even on the hourly, I mean, even when I stretch it out, it's really not that great, right? Had a little bit of a push up, but the same exact thing. So no trend, no trade. Okay, euro pound is down 65. So this guy, okay, so again, we saw this one. We reached back up, we grabbed some orders, and we shot back to the downside pretty healthily, right? As you guys can see, we are sitting inside of a zone that we talked about last night. We talked about a trigger line. You guys can see it right here. Now let me move this. I think I did that on the 4-hour. Maybe. It's hard to say now because of the scaling was off, but it's one problem with these is they don't scale well. All right. Whoops, I deleted the line. Whatever, you guys. The line was sitting right here, so we just crossed into it. This is kind of the zone we're at. Again, I mentioned last night that this one's still continuing to look like it wanted to come back to the downside. We're flirting around here with what, 87.50 right now, in that range. It's made a couple attempts in here. This is obviously a half number, so it will have some strength coming into it. The level's okay. I mean, I hate when the level is almost the entire candle behind the wall. Not necessarily my favorite way to take it, but you're able to see it here on the hourly. You know, we've kind of hit once and we've hit again, and again, it looks like it's running out of steam. You know, again, here is the first attempt, here's the second attempt, and now here's the third attempt. So it wants to push in there, but we don't have any steam right now. So what I would say is the place to look at this one is going to be tomorrow morning with the pound news. It's the GDP at 2 a.m. It is month over month. So that'll show if there's any type of recovery whatsoever in the last month. Where we've been shutting down, the euro may be picking back up again. So kind of one thing to look at. I think I'd rather play it right now inside of the pound pairs, not necessarily the euro, because the euro is just kind of flat here. So pound CAD, you guys can see on the 4 hour, absolutely dead sideways, no trend whatsoever. We've been here, what, 17 hour or 17 candles worth now, 17 4 hour candles. So a couple days, no real movement. All right, so euro is more or less flat across the board. There's just not any type of catalyst. We haven't heard enough news. There hasn't been enough, kind of rumors. There's just not enough going on there. So, what are you going to do? Everything's not going to be tradable every single day of the week. It's funny. 2 weeks ago, we were talking about, oh my God, everything is huge. And again, even look at this pair. Look at this. This ATR is just collapsing. Not quite halfway, right? Not quite halfway, but it's on its way. It will continue to push back down. And there's some big candles in here. Actually, 13, 14. We're messing with these two big candles right now. So once those two get chunked out, this will be back to normal. Spreads will shrink, and we'll be good to go. This is still 3. Look at pound. Man, my nose is running nonstop. So now that we have all the windows open, all the trees are like blooming right now, and I'm allergic to basically all the tree pollen. So it's like, oh, like I don't want to turn the air on, but the pollen is like, it's a battle. It's like, do I want my nose to run, or do I want like a no power bill? And I'm losing the battle right now. All right, pound yen. All right, so pound yen is sitting up there. We had a yellow line, which was probably our alert line from last night, looking for kind of an area to get in. Look at this ATR dropping through the floor. The ATR is back down to 209. 209. So again, getting back into ranges that almost seem normal. You can see at the peak, guys, the peak was 384. So we have dropped 184 pips in the ATR on the daily. Crazy news. And we're getting ready to chop out some of these other big ones in here. So good, good, good. As you guys can see on the 4 hour, okay, we had a little bit of an alert system set into this range to see what was there. Again, we had a hand-drawn level a little bit higher that we were looking to get into. On an hourly, you guys can see that this was actually approaching this zone. Now, again, we didn't draw the top side of this one. This was just an alert line because there was not actually even a zone there. It must have been because of this little bit right here. It probably was. It was probably this. Okay. Which again came back down. I think, did we ended up hitting it? Yeah, we ended up hitting it right here. So there was that today that you would have been able to trade here, down, all the way back up, and then just sideways movement. So a little bit of a trade on the 30-minute. Not necessarily the cleanest zone. It's been about 4 candles there, back and forth, kind of chopping it up a little bit before it even started, and then got kind of front run here and pushed back down again. So kind of a teaser back and forth. A little bit of a kind of jerky, trade back. So let's delete that off. Oh, the child's running in the hallway. So the baby now is convinced that little kids are supposed to stay up till 1 o'clock in the morning, 1:30. After chart school last night, she was dumping a water bottle out in my bed. My wife had had enough. She's like, take her, she's yours. So I have the cutest child, but at night she turns into the devil. Just so everybody knows. Cutest kid. But again, all the boys passed out at 8:30. They are gone. Like by 9 o'clock, they're done. Doesn't matter. Melissa's like, can we give the baby melatonin? I'm like, no. Nope, can't give it to her. She's not old enough yet. But she's like, but they're gummies. I was like, we are not giving. No. I'm like, the boys can eat them. Baby, no. But pretty soon this baby's going to be. Got to fend her off from the melatonin gummies. Because it gets dark and she gets jacked. So she's running through the hallway right now. So it's going to be a late night. Anyway, pound yen. For me, I still think I'm waiting until it comes up to this zone. We're talking about being about 120 pips away. So we're really 1 day away. If we can kind of get some yen weakness tomorrow or some pound strength early on, we can get up to this gold or this gray zone. Again, stick an alert line kind of sitting in here, maybe a little bit before it. Maybe set yourself an alert at 136.60, and that'll give you enough time to come back to get into that short. And then again, going into Friday, that could give us kind of the big boom to the downside that we need in this pair. Or if we don't quite get that entry, it also gives us a great place to start taking shorts off of over the weekend. God forbid Something happens to Boris Johnson on Saturday, this will go down on Sunday. But that could give us kind of a launching point going into the weekend for any number of reasons. All right, so that's where we're kind of setting up here. Actually, you know what? Let me extend this across a bit more. Should be enough. All right, pound dollar. Pound dollar's up 76. Again, obviously pulling back right now, but looking on the daily basis, again, starting to rally back up. So this is going to be a true test. Okay, we made this big drive up, based, started to fall, hit this wick over wick on the bottom, and bounced off of it. Now let's see if this is going to be as much as it can push forward. If so, we got to be looking at shorts to take this back to the downside. Again, this would be dollar strength coming back into the markets. On the 4-hour, we are sitting in a zone, so it's already looking like it wants to say, hey, listen, we need to short it from this position. Zone is a little bit big, though. I mean, you're talking about a 70 pip zone, a bit too much for me. On an hourly, you can see we're not quite up to that kind of refined level. The refined level is only about 29, so better. And on the 30-minute, you can see that it's about a 15, 20 pip zone, and that's really kind of the peak at the top, all right? That's probably the cleanest if we get any type of spike. Now, again, things like the GDP could spike that one. Really, the ECB monetary policy notes could do it, and then obviously the PPI data. But again, the unemployment claim is what we're going to be looking for first. We've seen an interesting reaction, not what people have expected the last couple times, and we'll see. But I think tomorrow, again, GDP number could be all we need to bounce it up to that zone. If we can get any type of a spike up, it is about 60 pips right now away. So between the overnight, that spike, and everything else, we could definitely be sitting up in that zone before any of the news comes out, which would kind of lead us towards some type of a short. Problem is, in our most limited risk asset class, it will probably be entirely jacked up tomorrow, so there may not actually be anything we can trade out of it. Unfortunately, I'm just afraid that the premium is just going to be insane tomorrow, even on the lower time frames. What we really need to do is get this ATR. If we can get these ATRs back down and the volatility levels back down again, Nadex will be a lot better for some of these news trades. And I sent the message in today. They're actually looking into it now to figure out, hey, listen, that's a good idea. That's a good point. Let's look at that. Because right now they're just too far apart. Right? So that's what we got. Pound dollar. Pound CAD. You guys can see pound CAD. Kind of the same idea. We bounced off a daily zone. Again, it was a wick over wick. Touched it pretty quickly. We mentioned it yesterday. It's pulling back up again. It's not making a huge push. A lot of sellers sitting right above, so it's kind of hit and retrace sideways. On the hourly, you can see we did take a bounce. It got to about 1.5 before it kind of based again. The zone itself is about 45 on an hourly, so again, kind of big, right? It's nice that it moved down about 80 in the other direction, but 40 risk is a lot, right? 40 risk is a lot. No ifs, ands, or buts. This one is still quite large. The daily ATR is 304. So this is one of the ones that is still pretty jacked. It's falling, but it's not even close. So again, you're gonna have a little bit more exposure to pound CAD, pound Aussie. That's a nice little burst there. On the daily, you can see sitting inside of a wick over wick. On the 4-hour, you can see it's chopped down here again. 1, 2, 3, and this is 4. Looks like it wants to continue to push lower at this point. This zone a little bit too big for me, kind of crazy. 2, 3. A little bit right here. Let me see. Can I see that though? Little zone here, but not the best. I think this bottom zone is probably what we're looking for. Down here at 195.96 to 195.43 is kind of a small little setup. And again, make sure it's hitting at a good time. That will be affected by gold tomorrow. So obviously, there's a couple different news events that will affect this one. The spread on this one is 4, so it is going to be a little bit higher. But again, this one can be pretty violent. The daily ATR on this one is still 348 pips, so quite large. Pound Swiss, I'm going to skip the pound New Zealand because there's no point as well. Pound Swiss, same chart, up, base, not as high as we were before. Yeah, I was going to say there's a zone sitting right above here somewhere. Pound Swiss is 70 there. We're sitting in a little tiny zone now, but let's see. About 20 pips. It's not bad. That's not a bad zone. Okay. Whoops. So we're looking at 120.65 to 120.86. Again, top of the range, one single test, a little bit of a base, and then bam, slam down. Has been front run twice. Kind of almost got to it. and got pushed back down again. So again, it is a touchy area where there are some sellers up there. Again, prices have been driven down recently. We'll see. Looks like we can get a little bit more. Not a bad little push. You know, your target on this one total would be about 60 pips. That's not a bad grab. If you can get something small in this one. And again, if we can continue to push up into that zone, that would be a great place to be right before the pound GDP. Again, that's month over month, so that one is a recent. It's forecast to be 0.1, so it's supposed to be positive. If it is not positive, that's going to be negative for the pound, meaning that this is lined up perfectly to kind of shoot back to the downside. It does only have a 2-pip spread, so not a horrible trade there. Hey, green screen only. Welcome to the channel. So there's pound. Let's jump over across and look at New Zealand. Again, I'm only going to cover the 2 New Zealand pairs tonight. First one being right here, as you guys can see. It did turn. We are kind of that same area where we got turned around last time. So on a 4-hour basis, we've had this zone. We've been talking about it for a while. Today, we did have a rally past it. As you guys can see, we did have a Harry Potter set up on the downside, but we pulled away from it. So no harm, no foul. Setting up a trade that doesn't get triggered, not the end of the world. We'll save it and wait till, we can't, for another day. This is what we're looking at. We've just recently bounced off this 1 hour, but I think this one was quite large, right? Yeah, it's about 33 on the hour, which is a lot for this pair. And actually on the 30-minute triggered as well. Still about 27 on the 30 minutes. It's still a bit big. Let's go back to the hourly. I wanted to see where that gap was. Let's see here. So I'm not doing anything with this one currently, but I am looking for that area. Okay, this would be kind of where, after last week, where the price rallied back up from the Sunday night gap, it got turned away from this area, and this zone formed. So this zone is up at 66.40 to 66.62, about 20 pips on this one. Don't know if we're going to get back. We may actually see a little bit of a down draw all over here in the overnight, but it's a level I'm kind of looking for. So for me right now, I am looking at this level up here, right? And I am looking for, obviously, this Harry Potter down here still. Right here. All right. So either way, I'm looking to get short. Again, aggressive people, you guys can take a short off of this zone. If you are getting an aggressive short off that zone, you'd be looking at that, which that's okay. It's not horrible. It's already moved a little bit, so you'd want to come up and test that area. But like I said, this is a pretty aggressive entry in this position. I'd much rather take this off of that zone right there, or the Harry Potter right here. Extend that across so we can see it a little bit better. There you go. And that one's small. That one's only about what are we talking? 22 to 35. So you're talking about 13 pip risk to the downside. So I like the Harry Potter on this one. The Harry Potter is my friend. If this one comes back up, I'll take that one as well. And again, the aggressive entry would be right here. Looking at the New Zealand dollar, you guys can see New Zealand dollar in a 30-minute actually just bounced off of an entry. We had another entry here. Again, there was 2 in here. This was a bit more the aggressive one. We ended up hitting here. We hit and we went down to about 1.5. So again, probably got stopped out at break even on this one if you guys had taken it. No harm, no foul. Again, those are going to happen. It ended up going higher into that upper zone. Again, aggressive versus conservative. The conservative one is actually was the winner tonight. Again, 6 to 1, half dozen to the other. Just make sure the risk of reward is there on them. And again, both of them it seemed to be fine. This one you've gotten 2 different entries. One here, and we dropped down about 40 pips before we kind of retraced back up again. And again, you probably trail this one to some extent. And worst case scenario, you're up in it. Let's see. You're up about 17 right now. So that's kind of where we're at on this one. Again, more to the short side of things right now. Yeah, I'm looking for that top and bottom right now. So for me, I do like this zone here. That was a Sunday night one. That one worked. So that zone here and this zone right here. Okay. That's kind of my top and bottom brackets. Again, depending on how we enter the area. Again, this one you guys can see. Fast entry in. I love the fast entry in. Had it come up and based, would not have liked it as much. I love the fast entry in. So if this comes down and bases here and then drops in, I'm going long. If it comes down and does this and bases right below, right here, kind of forms a basing level here, then I won't take this one. Okay, I want this one to come and have a very sharp entry in, and then I'll be willing to take that one long. Most likely this is going to be a next week trade. All right, let's jump over to the dollar pairs. Anyone else holding oil stocks for tomorrow? Green screen. I'm actually going to go to oil in. I have 3 pairs. So I have dollar yen, dollar CAD, dollar Swiss, and then I'll go to oil and I'll show you what I got in oil. What's up, Adam? How you doing? Good afternoon. Where are you calling in from, or dialing in from, or watching from? Because it's like 10 p.m. at night here, except in my daughter's world. She thinks it's she thinks it's afternoon. All right, so dollar Swiss. Actually, let's start off with dollar yen first. So dollar yen, again, I'll pull forex factor across real quick. You guys can see dollar yen is only up 27 pips. Actually, it just ticked up. It was 26, but only 27. There you go, 26 pips in the last 24 hours up. So you guys can see on the daily, a little bit of consolidating. We made it another attempt out. We're still greens. We have 2 greens in a row, but we're still consolidated inside of the red area. So it's a sideways trend. You'll see a lot of basing, right? A lot of basing, only 26 pip different. One pop up, one pop down, and then it kind of slowly moved back and forth. So is there a lot of trend in this one? Not really. Not really. You guys can see this little hourly zone has been kind of pretty decent today, bouncing back and forth. Here's it on the 30-minute. You guys are able to see. You guys can see there's the one here, right? This happened at 9 a.m., and I mentioned this as we started today. 9 a.m. is right here for market open. There's 10, okay? Here is lunchtime. So here's the open. We popped up, we snagged the zone, we shot all the way back down, blew through the 1 to 3, the 1 to 5, hit the opposing zone, grabbed it, turned around, and then rallied all the way back up until like 30 minutes ago. Okay, so these little 30-minute zones on the dollar yen have been actually pretty good. We do have this Harry Potter again set up for a break to the downside on the 30-minute still, but for right now, again, these are 2 short-term targets that price is literally bouncing. We came down, we grabbed it, and again, looking to the left, it's this zone right here, right? This one, maybe not. You got into it, but this one was obviously marked off without a doubt. 9 a.m. hit, boom, all the way back down. 12 came back up. So plenty of movement in dollar yen. Right now, we're the upper end of the curve. I would have to say that I'm short. This zone up top, it's worked out twice. We're kind of running out of catalyst right now. Whoops. Get rid of that. Right now, we're running out of catalyst, but that zone started at 109.08 to 109.14. So you're talking about a very, very small risk level in that one. The spread on this one is obviously only 1. It's very tiny, so not a bad little trade to the downside. How'd you play that one? So probably good for one more shot. If not, again, we have another zone sitting up top, which also had a nice little retest. Nice push through. All right, so dollar yen, dollar CAD. Dollar CAD was the big boy. No, I'm just kidding. It's only down 14 pips from where we were last night. We're sitting in a zone on the daily right now. You guys can see it right here, right? You guys can see, here, I'll zoom in so you can see it a little bit better. Right there. You see there's this little candle right here. It's hard to see because it really didn't move much. It hit, it popped, and it closed just slightly above. On the 4-hour, you can see this is what we basically had today. And I'll stretch it out. I'll make it look super impressive. Unfortunately, it just wasn't super impressive. Not much you can do in this one. Didn't even get up to an entry. I had a small entry sitting up here. Didn't even make it. It just a little bit too much consolidation. Oops. There we go. Had a little bit of a zone sitting right here and didn't even make it and popped back sideways. So there's your hourly. You can see, guys, no real trending. This one's waiting for tomorrow. No ifs, ands, or buts. Check where this one is tomorrow morning before the news. Remember, this one is affected by both news releases, right? It's affected by the CAD unemployment rate and unemployment change. This is a big jump, potentially 2% higher, but it is also coupled with the unemployment figure of 5 mil. So we'll see. It's kind of been a non-number the last couple of weeks, and then we've seen the market rally off of it. So we'll see what it does tomorrow. Check this one out in the lower time frame. Same as the dollar yen. Make sure you're checking on the 30 minutes. Dollar Swiss, kind of the same idea, right? Dollar Swiss consolidating, right? Inside 2 greens in a row after that big kind of, big smackdown. No trend whatsoever on this one. You guys can see we had this zone set up top. I'll delete my other zone right there just to clean it up a little bit. You guys can see literally bouncing back and forth on the hourly 30-minute. You can't even see that zone, but came down. It tagged this also at 9:30 this morning at the open. Again, when you get in the open, and anytime you're in news, open, anything like that, whenever you open in a level, there's some big event inside of a level. Those typically are the places to get in at. So at 9:30 this morning, opened and traveled only about 30 pips. So this was not a gigantic, huge mover. People are like not making $1 million off this trade today unless you trade it with 10 million. It's just not a big enough thing. You guys can see the daily ATR is back down to 99 pips. So this one, at its peak, this one only made it up to about 160-ish, 160. So at 99, it's not as much, but you guys can see the average down here was about 54, 55. So we got about 30, 40 more pips to go to the downside. If you go back, some of these big candles will be eaten up. By Sunday, this one should be back in the normal ATR ranges again, which is great to bring that volatility back down, give us new levels. I was just playing, sorry. Oh, no problem, Adam. You're fine, man. I'm just playing with you too. All right, oil. All right. Well, this is my oil window. Check this bad boy out. All right, so on the daily, you can see that this thing popped, right? Again, we were sitting back down there lows a couple days ago. Yesterday, we had the big push down. It was like, is it going to retrace all the way back down again? So we knew that today's number was going to be pretty big. Here's the 4 hour. Here's the hourly. Okay. Here's the 30-minute where we're looking to do trades. So for those of you that were on last night, you know that we had a little level set right here, right? We had a nice little level set up there. So when news came out, here, we'll actually drop this down to the 15-minute. When news came out, all right, you guys know where this is. I don't have to hit the timer for you. Here's where the news came out. And what did news do? It was starting to pull back down again. Rallied up all overnight, right? Here's 8, 9, 15, 9:30, 9:45, 10. Kind of pulled back slightly. 10:15 started turning. And then we had the big gap down, the big spike up, hit our entry, and boom, collapsed again. So, again, instant parabolic retracement, guys. It literally rallied all morning, ended up coming to the news number. It was a big number, bigger than expected. Not only did it shoot up, it hit our zone, then collapsed to the floor. Then coincidentally, bam, what did we hit on the 30-minute? Right? Not only did it hit there, come back down and hit not only your 1 to 3, your 1 to 5, it came all the way down, grabbed our buying zone, and went crazy. It went nuts. It went nuts. So we're sitting back up top. We had a little bit of gap at the end of the day. So this is what we're looking at right now. So for me, again, the higher zone is up here. And again, any of you guys green screen, if you're looking at this, these prices are based off of an ECN. So it's slightly different than what the actual numbers are. So they're going to be slightly off. Same patterns. Like this one only went down as low as in the 20s. It didn't actually make it to the 19 like the actual futures contract did, but the chart pattern is exactly the same. So for me, looking at this one, I have a sell zone sitting right here. Actually, here, I'll just do it this way. There is my sell zone in this one, right? When we got that gap up and that drive back down again. So it came back up, it tagged that it's pushing to the downside. There's a couple little buyers sitting in here, but for me, I would be short this pair. I think this one is coming back down right now. Like I said, we have the OPEC meeting tomorrow. Originally we heard, hey, listen, we're going to cut. And now they're discussing, which is a little bit of a softening in it. Until we hear that they're officially cutting, I don't know that we can necessarily be long this. I think the unemployment claim number tomorrow will be pretty telling. It'll tell you how many people are not driving right now. I think that, has the potential to kind of push this to the downside a bit more. That's just me. That's my opinion. But the way that it's looking here, the fact that we were unable to really get higher here, and looking to the left, you're seeing some zones here. I'll go to 30-minute. The 30-minute's a little easier to see it. You guys can see that the last time price was up in this range. There's the selling area. So we can see even on the spike, came up, touched it, pulled back. Came up, got turned back. Gapped into it, pushed back. Came over again, didn't go as high, and is now starting to pull away. So this area of sellers to me looks like they just want to continue to push. And again, this is a pretty standard parabolic retracement trade for us, right? Whenever you have something that's crazy, expect some type of retracement. We got it up here. This one was a couple days, but I mean, here is one single day, or one 30-minute candle, and what did it do? It retraced it in the next 4 hours. So here's been 2 big pops, and now it's starting the retracement in the overnight. For me, I'd have to say I'm short this position. A lot depends on the meeting. I agree on the chart. Yeah, I mean, like I said, everybody, like all the news we've heard, and that was one of the things I talked about in the very beginning. So in Forex Factor, we talked about, OPEC right here, discussing these massive oil production cuts. But the problem is right now, if nobody's driving and nobody needs it, it doesn't matter how much you cut. We don't need it right now. So it may affect it in the future, but from now till next week, is demand going to change that much that them cutting is going to do anything about it? Maybe, maybe not. And like I said, they're discussing it. You know, they're discussing it, but that also means that they're going to make less money in an attempt to go higher. I don't know. I mean, do you want to be one of those countries that says, you know what, we're going to cut it. It's already low. We're going to cut it and make less money. That's the big question. All right. Actually, Mayo will look at the S&P is coming in 2 charts. So you're pretty close. Actually, 3 charts. I'll do gold, I'll do silver, and then I do the S&P. So you're right there. All right. So yeah. So for me on this one, like I said, we've heard a lot. Trump made a comment about it. You know, Russia and Saudi made comments about it as well. Now they're saying, hey, listen, they're going to discuss it. And that came from the oil minister in Algeria. We'll see. Until they say we're officially cutting it, that's what we're going to need to, you know. Like I said, oil's not driven by how much they pull out of the ground, because a lot of people can pull it out of the ground. It's purely driven by demand right now. And a lot of this collapse in oil has been based off of what? The demand continuing to collapse. So thankfully I have tomorrow when trading starts to sell or sold. Yeah, I mean, you're fine. Yeah, check it out. I mean, like I said, you'll see some overnight movement. In the overnight, I would expect it to go, you know, continue to move to the downside. Like I said, a lot of people are expecting. Here's the other side of it too that you got to think of, green screen. A lot of people are expecting that OPEC will decide to cut it. Now, OPEC does not have as much power as they used to. There's a lot of other countries that are not part of OPEC that control price now as well. Okay, so just remember that, because remember the last time that there was a Middle Eastern conflict, when missiles were supposedly launched and a quarter, you know, or 5% of the world supply was shut down. It did nothing to oil whatsoever. It spiked it for one day and then it collapsed lower. So remember, OPEC does not have as much control. As well as everybody says that they're going to discuss it, and people know if they cut it, they're expecting price to go higher. So if you expect prices to go higher, what's the best time to buy it? When the price is already high, or wait for the price to collapse and buy it on sale for it to go higher? That's what big money is going to do. They're going to force the price down for all these people that think it's going to go up. So all these people that are going long, price will get driven down. And when those people are like, I can't take this loss anymore, when they're selling it on the way down, guess who's buying it? The big money. And then that's where the money will purchase it at a cheaper price because they want to buy it on sale. And that's what's going to shoot it back up in the air again. That's kind of the way you need to think about it. You got to think about, what would big money do? If you could control this, like if you had trillions and trillions of dollars and you could control this market, knowing that they're going to cut oil, what do you want oil to do first before they actually make the official cut? Do you want to pay a high price, or do you want to get it on sale? Think about that. Okay. All right, go to gold. What's gold doing? Nothing. Gold popped. Here's those. You guys remember this from the Natics broadcast? Lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, and the lower lows were going here, and all of a sudden, boom! Now we've just leveled off. We're kind of in the same area. Here's your 30-minute chart. Is there any trend in gold? No, no trend in gold right now. There was a zone that the indicator grabbed and actually drew up here for us. It ended up getting front run, but it really hasn't done much. It's really floating around the 1647. Tomorrow will be an interesting day. Obviously, that number is going to make a big impact on it. Gold is an inflationary asset. Nobody's working. Interest rates are zero. There's no inflation. Inflation is not going to jack up when 15 million people have lost their jobs in the last 3 weeks. Just not happening. So really all this is future speculation, and there's nothing inside of the chart that's telling us it's going to move. On a 4-hour basis, you can see, again, we went failure to go higher right here. Again, we had that zone sitting right here. And again, we got front run. We tagged it, and it is pushed. I'm going to delete these things now just so we can clear them so you guys can see the candles below. And what do I see in this? I see a prop up. I see us hitting an area of sellers. I see a push down. I see a little bit of a push back up. Again, impulse, correction, and we're starting an impulse move. So to me, I also believe that this one is probably headed down. Oops. I should probably turn that the correct color. Everybody's going to be like, wait a second, what the heck is a green down arrow? To me, it looks like this one will be heading down. Probably this level. Probably down to the 18s. All right. Looking at silver. Silver. Silver just never made up as far, guys. It turned around, and you guys can see on the daily. I mean, look at this. On the daily, hasn't done much whatsoever. On the 4-hour, same kind of idea, right? 4-hour, we just literally went sideways off that zone. Haven't done much. Hourly, same idea. We hit a small zone now, but we're really just kind of going sideways. And again, this one, even on the 30-minute, we put a level in, got front run, came up, got a little bit of an entry here. That entry actually got triggered at about 9 o'clock. Right, 9 o'clock again. That kind of right around the open time where we pushed down, and that's been it. We pushed down, grabbed some demand, and went right back up again. So kind of a small zone between 1490 and 1506. So you're talking about a 15-cent window in silver right now. Again, really, really consolidated. Look at that daily ATR. Look at this one. This one is not only humped, it's basically fallen off the Grand Canyon cliff here, and it's almost back to what its normal was of about, I mean, it says 40 cents, right? About 40 cents is what the average is on the daily. As you guys can see, we were floating inside of a 15-cent range today. So again, very, very consolidated, okay? Going across to the S&P. All right, so S&P drove up inside of a zone, all right, on the daily. So it looks like we did push up and went into a zone that we had marked off, and we actually have a couple zones in there. So let's go down and check this one out. So here's that hand-drawn zone. I think I did that on the hourly. Yeah, that's drawn off of the hourly. You can see, what did price do earlier today? It came up and touched it and then collapsed away, right? And actually, let's see. That was yesterday at 6 a.m. So today, we came down, we grabbed the 30-minute level. You guys can see right here, we had this kind of alert saying, hey, listen, if we get down into here, we probably have some buying, and it did. Right in this zone right here is where we were. Here's 6 o'clock in the morning. All we did was we rallied up, we pushed back at 10, and then get the new push. So where we are right now, we're sitting in two different supply zones for me. So for me, I would have to say that I'm probably bearish this one, at least in the overnight. Looking at it on the 30-minute as well. Yeah, you guys can see the zone in there. This is the zone we had marked off from last night. Here's the original mark, and we've hit it, and now we've had a failure to go higher. We moved to here, and then we moved slightly lower, and we got a red, we got a green, another red close. There's our confirmation down, with projections down here down to 26.39. So about 100 points down. It could cover that in the overnight. It may or may not. We'll see, but I'd say I'd be bearish in this one for the near term. Looking at NASDAQ, and again, Mayo, if you have any questions about that or something in particular, let me know. I can kind of look at it even more so. But like I said, in that one, to me, that one looks like it wants to go down based off of that chart. Daily on the NASDAQ, again, nice little push up on this one, but we didn't go as high as what we had the previous day. As you can see in the 4 hour, we're sitting inside of a sell zone right now. It wasn't the most impressive day. We kind of went up during the overall market, and now we've hit and have already started to pull away. On the hourly, a lot more consolidation on this one, but look at this. There was, let's see, when did those levels form? Those levels formed about 6 o'clock this morning, 6, 7 o'clock this morning. As you can see, we have our 10 o'clock big push down. Yeah, big push down, big push back up again, and then here's where we were last night, okay? 6 o'clock this morning, today, we ended up bouncing off that same zone, pushed all the way up, and then right about the end of the day is where we hit, and now we've started to turn back down again. So for me, I'd probably say it looks like in the overnight, we also want to come to the downside. We've run into a supply zone. It looks like we'd have our targets down here at what? 8,021, right? Drop of about, what are you talking about, 60 points in the NQ. And then looking at the Dow on a daily. Dow on the daily had a much better run than the other two. This one basically closed right up against that high, but we do have a wick over wick sitting right here. Okay, here's those little hidden zones that we talk about. That's what we've kind of run into right now. On the 4 hour, I can delete it because there is obviously a smaller one, but it is inside of a daily zone. And again, here, I'll click the overlay. It's drawn. Unfortunately, it's drawn, so the overlay won't work on that one. But that's where we're sitting on the side of the 4 hour. Inside of the 1 hour, again, we lose it, but we can hand draw the same level. It would be right there. Okay, rather small risk on this one. So again, kind of the same story for this one as well. To me, it looks like it wants to push to the downside. Looks like we have a little bit. Yeah, it looks like I'll move this. Looks like on the 30-minute, you guys can see here on the 30-minute, there was your zone. And that original zone was formed back here on the 7th. So yesterday, at about basically the open yesterday, we pushed back up, and same thing. Again, there was a couple little small entries down here, but for the most part, same thing. I have to say I'm bearish this position as well. Now, these all may be getting bearish in the overnight to get a cheaper price to push this thing higher. So don't be surprised in the overnight if this is just negative, 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 and we run into an area that was formed in the overnight for a big push to the top side. Now, in the last 2 weeks, the market's been kind of interesting, but I mean, there's a small zone right here. It's all right. I don't love it. There's also one down in here somewhere. Let's see. Kind of down there. You can see there's a 4 hour zone there. maybe there. So here you guys can see it bracketed off on the 4 hour. You guys can see the dotted lines, dotted lines. So here would be kind of where I'm looking at target wise. 22,498 would be the downside where I'd be looking to kind of take some longs out of this one. We'll see. That's quite a lot of movement in the overnight. I don't know if we're gonna get that much movement, but that could be our target to the downside if you're getting short tonight. Thankfully tomorrow. Hasn't the Thursday trend been big green days with terrible unemployment? Yep, it has been the last two, because everybody expected it to be so negative that they saw those negative numbers and they got in there to short. But if it's so bad, why would anybody in their right mind sell it to them? Well, it's big money has driven that price higher, and all those people that had tried to short the market have lost money. Remember, the goal is to think, what is the average man going to do, and do the opposite of it, right? So one site, I don't know if you guys use this site at all, but go over to Daily FX. So click on Wall Street. Okay. One of the interesting things that they have is what the overall sentiment is. Right now, 76% of clients are net short, right? Can 76% of people be right? No. No, not typically. And look, 70% of clients are net short, and what is it doing? It's going higher, 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 because everybody knows that number tomorrow is going to be bad and it's going to be horrible, right? Once people all of a sudden, like you just said, hasn't the trend been it's going to be big green days? Once the majority of people say, hey, listen, that number is going to be bad, we need to go long for this number, that's when it flips. Okay? It's whenever the average person is convinced that, they know what's going to happen, that's where you get surprised and it goes in the other direction. Okay? Because like I said, here, and again, you weren't around in the beginning, here's the thing with this number, right? Here's the thing with this number. Now, this number has not adjusted. All the other ones adjusted. Originally, this number started at 750,000, and then they adjusted it to 1.2, and then it came in at 1.35, and then the actual release was 1.6. Last week, this one started at, I think it was 3. I think it was 1, or I think it was like 2.5 or 3, and then it was at 3,100. So again, they missed it by just a little bit, right? They missed it by just a little bit. Okay, the forecast was just a bit off. This one here, I think it started at 3,100, and then they changed it to 3,600, and then it came in at 6. This one hasn't changed. It's been the same since Sunday, just like fading the public in sports betting. Yeah, it's the same idea. Yep. So here's the thing: what happens tomorrow? So everybody's like, "Oh my God, it's been off, it's been off, it's been off." What happens if this tomorrow only comes in at 4 million? What happens to the market? What happens if that number is not as negative as we thought it was? Because there will be people that are going to say, hey, listen, if it's only 4, is the market going to go up or is the market going to go down? See, this is where it kind of gets to be a bit interesting, right? Yeah, see? So, I mean, eventually they are going to overshoot, because that's always what happens. Pick any news release, right? I mean, the forecasts are out there, but, you have some green, some red. I mean, look at GDP numbers, right? GDP numbers, what happens? Sometimes they overestimate, sometimes they underestimate. Sometimes they're right, but a majority of the time, I don't care what news release it is. Here, you do look at oil if you don't believe me. Look at this. You want to talk about forecasts? Look at oil. How right is oil in 2020? The oil forecast hasn't been right. How come some of them are red? How come some of them are green? Because here I was like, oh my God, look. Green, 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 wham, red. And then they adjusted it, and then they were off again, right? Hey, listen, we were off, and then wham, huge number. So remember, a lot of times after 2 times here, they got 4. Here's a bunch in a row. But what happens tomorrow if this is only 3.5 or 4? That's what you got to want. That's what you got to worry. Because remember, the market's already priced in 5. It's not like it's going to be worse than that, right? But what happens? What about this? What if it comes in at 9? Or what if it comes in at like 7? Could it come in 3 million higher than the forecast? Sure. Right? It absolutely could. Right? This one came in 2 higher. This one came in 3 million higher. Could this one come in at 8 million? Could we see an 8? Could I get an 8? What are they saying all week? Oh, this is worse than the curve's not slowing yet, or we're just starting to see the curve slowing. Could it come in at 8? Sure. It absolutely could come in at 8. And then what does the market do? So again, that's why it's important to be able to control your risk in these positions. And don't think you know what's going to happen. Think what the big money would want to happen. Think about it. I have $1 trillion. I can manipulate the market. I have enough money for that. What would be the best way that I could trap the most people? And that's how you trade it. You think it's going to come in at 10? This is not an auction, Ernest. It's not an auction. Do I have 10? Do I have 11? Do I hear 11, guys? 11 million unemployment claims. No. Watch your zones and fib levels. Oh, God. There he goes with the fib levels again. All right, guys. So with that being said, that is the last of the pairs tonight. We'll shut those guys down. All right, so that was the last of the pairs tonight. So time for the ticket drawing. So I always pull this up so you guys can see it. Oops, let me go back. I had to change the timer real quick. And let's see where we do the giveaways. All right, so I always pull this on the screen so you guys can see it. That way it's the easiest for people to see. Right now we have 7 entrants in. So what you are doing for this ticket is you're getting what's called pip chips. It's just the channel's form of money. You can redeem this for indicators. You can redeem it for mentoring. Mentoring is literally, we have a one-on-one conversation over Zoom. We can talk about anything that you absolutely want. We can talk about my strategies. We can talk about your strategies. We can talk about risk, market psychology, trade setups that you're in, really anything that you want we can talk about. So it's completely open to that. And again, it's super cheap. I do it on purpose. Again, it's a way that I can help people and give back. I love teaching people and helping them out. So it doesn't matter which strategy, what asset class you're trading. If it's got a chart, I can help you do it, and I'll give you my opinion on it. All right. So I will give you guys about 30 seconds more to. I'll give you about at 139. I know there's a little bit of delay, and everybody's delay is a bit different. I will give you guys to 139, and then I will hit the close giveaway button, and then I will do the drawing. Last night was La Marina. If she wins tonight, she receives 100 pip chips. If you do the back-to-back, the 2 in a row, you go from 25 up to 100. Kind of like a progressive dice, for lack of a better word. Let's see, 30 more seconds. Oh, man, they're already calling shots. You think 246 traders got it? I know, the new guys do have some pretty good luck, right? Ernest is upping his odds. Sean has already upped his odds. 8 seconds, 7 seconds, 6. Oh, Q did it too. 4, 3, 2, 1. Bam. All right, here we go. I know you guys got the delay. You guys will actually see the winner before you hear the winner. But here it is. Ready? 3, 2, 1. And the winner is Debbie! Man, the women are kicking, excuse my French here, but the women are kicking some ass in here. Man, Debbie won last week too. Look at that. Go Debbie. Congratulations to you, Debbie. Look at that. Debbie's been drinking for 4 hours though, so, Debbie may not actually know that she's won yet. She was 2 in by 5:30 or something like that, 6 o'clock. So, just playing, Debbie. Just playing. Girl power, exactly. I know, right? All right, guys. So that'll be it for tonight. Same time tomorrow, 9 p.m. Eastern time. We will be jumping back on. And again, I will be doing this all day tomorrow, building this course out tomorrow, or the rest of the slides for it. I already have the outline finished up. And again, this is for Tuesday's webinar, if you guys missed it. And if you guys missed the first webinar, again, go over to the YouTube page. You guys are able to get access to it and check what the first secret word is. The second secret word, obviously, you'll get this Tuesday. And use those 2 things in. You'll be able to get this class or the 5-minute binary class for free. It's capped right now at 25, but I may actually extend that a bit more because we had like 60-something people or whatever on the first webinar. So let's see what Ernest says. Yeah, Ernest is fuming. Ernest is throwing some keyboards. All right, guys. So with that said, I'm out of here. I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Good trading tomorrow. I'll see you guys for the unemployment number in the morning. Take care.